Hello again! Today we have another look at the growing of some more plants in Minecraft. Not all that are missing from the last video, of course. The trees on their own will take a whole video. But now let's start with the most simple one. Grass. And also mycelium, because both work exactly the same way. Every time a grass or mycelium block receives a random update, I talked about those in my last plant video, and the light level on top is at least 9, then 4 random blocks in a 3x3x5 area around the grass get chosen. If a chosen block is a dirt block with a light level of at least 4, it gets converted to grass. Now that we have grass, we can make tall grass and flowers by using bone meal on grass blocks. To make it easier to understand, we cut the whole process in 8 stages, from 0 to 7, and each stage consists out of 16 rounds. In each round, we start at the block above the grass block we right-clicked on. Now we choose randomly one block in a 3 wide cube around this position. And just to mention it, it's more likely that a block on the same height as our center block gets picked than a block below or above. Now we analyze the chosen block. If it's not a normal block and on top of a grass block, we can use it as the center for our next random choice. Yeah, I can already see the question coming, what is a normal block? Good question. I guess the easiest way to say it is every block that cuts off redstone wire, like for example stone. Other blocks like glass, science, water are not normal blocks. How often we repeat the process of choosing a random block depends on the stage we're in. In stage 0 we can't move at all. In stage 1 we can choose a random block once, in stage 2 twice, and so on. In this example I'm in stage 3, so I pick 3 random blocks in a row. At the last chosen position I now try to place tall grass or flower. Of course this only works if it's an air block above grass with a light level of at least 8. What happens if at some point in this random pathfinding we get a non-valid position? In such a case we just skip to the next round. After 16 rounds we advance to the next stage, which only means that we now can move one block further away from the block we right-clicked. And now a few numbers. Whenever we place a block there's a 90% chance that it will be tall grass. And in the 10% where we place a flower, it is twice as likely to be yellow as it is to be red. And our final plant today, vines. Before we begin, each vine block has 4 directions it can face to. That's not only a visual thing, it's also important for the growing. I refer to those as orientations. Whenever a vine gets a random update, there's only a 25% chance that it will try growing. And when it grows, it starts by counting how many other vine blocks are in the area around, which is 4 blocks on the X and Z axis and 1 block on the Y axis. Now the vine decides randomly in which direction to grow. If it counted more than 4 vine blocks in the area around, including itself, and decided to grow sideways or up, it won't do anything. In other words, those vines can only grow down, but not anywhere else. Let's start with growing upwards. For every orientation the vine block has, there's a random check whether it's allowed to grow upwards or not. Now for every orientation that is allowed, we look if there's a normal block above on which the vine can be placed on. And if there is one, we place the vine. Growing to the side is a bit more complicated. In general, we have 4 different situations. But in any case, if the block already has an orientation in the direction it wants to grow, so if there's already a vine texture where it wants to grow to, then nothing will happen. Case 1. There's a normal block in the chosen direction. In this case, the vine block will just add another orientation to itself. Case 2. There's an air block in the chosen direction, and there's a normal block next to this air block. Or better to say, there's a normal block next to the normal block our growing vine is placed on, like on a wall. Then just a new vine block gets created at the targeted direction. Case 3. The typical corner. There's an air block next to the vine and next to that air block, so next to the block our growing vine is placed on. In this picture we assume that the direction the vine wants to grow to is on the right side from our point of view. This means the new vine block gets placed around the corner. Case number 4. This one can only happen if the vine grows down in the air, so no normal block around. In that case, it looks for a normal block on top of the air block it wants to grow to. In this case, we assume the vine wants to grow towards us. Then we will just place a vine under that block. Growing down is the most simple one. Like when growing upwards, every orientation has a random chance to grow down. And if there's an air block or another vine block below, then the vine will grow down like you would expect. So, that's all for today. If you have questions, just put them in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.